everyone, welcome back to my channel. As always, it's so great to have you back here and to be able to talk to you again. So the topic that I want to go over with you all today is something that's very important, and it's a very important thing to keep in mind, and that is traveling during a pandemic. So we all know that COVID has changed the way of life for the past few years, and it has changed the way that we have traveled. But fortunately, travel is picking back up again. The borders are starting to open. There's less and less restrictions, so that's a great thing, and that means that you most likely will be able to go travel to Spain. The good thing about Spain is that I think they're actually doing pretty well in terms of their cases and their restrictions in comparison to other European countries. So that's just something really great for you all. As of right now, you do not need to take a COVID test or actually even be fully vaccinated to get into Spain. However, I do recommend, you keep getting tested, keep an eye on those things, limit your exposure before you're traveling, because that's always something really, good to keep in mind. But in terms of regulations, I don't think that there's any super strict regulations to get into Spain as of right now. So before arriving in Spain, they do request that you fill out this form called My Spanish Travel Form. Like I said, you don't need to take a COVID test to get into Spain. However, it is something to keep in mind that if you are going through another country, like if you have a layover somewhere, you may need to take a test to get into that country. For example, my parents actually came to visit me and they flew into Portugal, and to get to Portugal they needed to take a test even though they were never actually leaving the airport. So definitely research that if you have a layover in a different country. But as far as Spain, if you're flying directly from the United States to Spain, you don't need a COVID test, you just need to fill out that form. So this is what the Spanish health form looks like. You'll need to fill this out before arriving into Spain, but however, there is a really precise way to fill it out. So there are some sections that you want to be really careful with. So at times it can be challenging to fill out. However, if you follow Patrick Guide Barcelona, he does a great job of explaining the process and how this form needs to be filled out.
Traveling to Spain, regardless of where you're coming from, you need to fill out a health form. It generates your personal QR code that you'll need to show for entry into Spain. I've received a lot of questions about what information you'll need, so here's how to fill out an FCS form to travel to Spain.
Make sure to watch the rest of his video if you have any questions regarding this form and filling it out, but here is what it will look like when this form is completed. So even though that I studied abroad during a pandemic, I still had an amazing time. Do I wish that COVID was not a thing? Yes, of course. I do wish that I did not have to have COVID in the back of my mind all the time. However, despite all of that, I still had a really great time. I still was able to see everything that I wanted to see for the most part, because in Spain right now, things are pretty much all open. Bars, restaurants, museums, touristy sites, all of that is pretty much open. However, you do have to wear your mask when indoors. You do not have to wear them outside. I mean, some people do. You will probably see maybe older individuals wearing them. So of course, if that makes you feel more comfortable, definitely keep a mask around to wear outside. But when you're inside, you definitely will have to keep them on, and they are pretty strict about that, so that's something to keep in mind. But however, despite these rules, I didn't mind wearing my mask around, and I was still able to see everything, and I was still able to go to places. So I was really fortunate enough for that. So now feel free to take a look at some of my COVID safe social distancing activities that I did while in Spain. So here you could see, here I am at some museums and some historical sites, and I was able to go on several tours with tour guides, visit several world-renowned museums, take the train, take public transportation to get where I needed to go, and I was still able to do this all safely. Like you could see in these images, I was always wearing my mask, but still had amazing time and still saw a lot. So as always, I hope this video was helpful. Feel free to leave a comment or any suggestions for any videos you'd like to see or any questions I can answer in a future vlog. And go ahead and hit that like button, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks, bye.